Hi everybody. Today we are talking about the topic of social bookmarking and specifically the tool Wakelet. Now the great thing about social bookmarking tools is not only do they allow you to collect resources that you want to hold on to, but they also allow you to share them with others and collaborate with others that may be focusing on the same topic you are. So there are lots of tools that do this out there. The most popular is probably Pinterest. But I want to show you Wakelet because I think it has some great educational possibilities and it's a really easy tool to use. So here we are on wakelet.com, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to see in the upper right hand corner you do need to sign up for an account. This enter code will make more sense after you see. This is basically if you have shared a collection with somebody and they want to enter in a code to get to that collection. So when you guys choose to sign up, you will see that it's going to give you several different options on how you want to create an account. I think Google is probably the easiest, but you guys are welcome to create your account with any kind of the options that are available to you. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to log into my account and show you what the interface looks like. I want to encourage you to be following along on your screen so that you are kind of keeping pace with me so you can learn how to use the tool at the same time I'm demonstrating it. So let me go ahead and log in and show you the tool Wakelet. All right, so once you've logged in, your interface will look something like this. And of course, you aren't going to see any collections when you first start. These are all collections that I have created or saved for my own purposes or demonstrative purposes. Let me start over here on the left and explain what we're seeing. The first is a search option. We'll demonstrate this later. This is if you want to search Wakelet for other materials that people have posted and shared. Explore is similar. If you don't have anything specific you want to search on and you just kind of want to see what's out there, Explore is great for that. Under My Library, you see four things. The first are bookmarks. Anything that you've chosen to bookmark, but it is not necessarily inside of a folder or what they call a collection. So these are just things you've bookmarked and want to hold on to. I'll show you. I've got several things out there for bookmarks. Collections are what you're seeing here. They're kind of a folder that holds several different resources that you want to organize together. So you can see I have one here called Remote Learning Tools. I have something here called I'm Most Proud Of, and so on. These are all collections or folders. Shared with me is self-explanatory. Anything that was shared with me as a collection, I will, or any materials, I will see under that. One of the most basic things you can do, of course, is create a collection, and that's what we're seeing here. So that's where we're going to start with creating a collection. So let's go up here in this blue button in the upper right-hand corner where it says Create Collection. Okay, so you guys are going to see several options here, just even to get us started. And the first thing we're going to want to do is give this a title. So just for demonstrative purposes, I'm going to call this Sample Collection. I'm going to say it was part of our tutorial, just so I remember. Now, it's always a good idea to give a description, especially if you're sharing this out with other people. You want to give them an idea as to what they will find inside of this collection. So I'm going to pause for a second and write up a description. Okay, so what I have here, and you can read that, this collection will showcase several great technology tools that teachers can use in their classroom. These resources are intended for K through 12 grade students. And this is a good place if you had a specific subject in mind, if this was specifically for social studies resources or math resources. And again, putting in the grade level might be helpful. So if somebody is searching and they find yours and they are a middle grades teacher and this is really strictly for elementary, maybe they don't use this one. All right, so once we have that all set up, you can see down here is where we start adding in our resources. Now, obviously, you can read it says paste any web address here, and that works great. If you find something online that you want to save, literally copy and paste it right into here. And I'll do that in just a second. I want you to see, though, that there's actually quite a few other things you can do and save within Wakelet. You can add text, an image, right there, any bookmarks. So remember I told you that you can just bookmark items, and I'll show you how to do that. If you want to bring in one of your bookmarks to your collection, you click right there. It'll bring up all of your bookmarks that you have saved, and then you can bring them into this collection. You can add in PDFs and a whole host of other. YouTube, and then a couple of cloud-based storage options, and then Adobe Express. So these are all the things that you can add in to Wakelet. So let me go ahead and add in, I've got an article here that are top tech tools for 2023. I'm going to grab that URL and just show you how easy this is. I'm going to paste it in, and there it is. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Once this is here, all of this can be modified. By clicking here, you can go to where it says edit. Now from here, you can edit the image that it's showing. That's pretty good actually for this image, but often it's kind of something very generic. If we wanted to change this image, you'd click right here, and you can either choose to upload your own image, or you can choose from a couple different repositories they have, or you can design your own with Canva. If you're not familiar with Canva, we will talk about that later in the semester. So you can change the image. You can also change the description. Sometimes these come in with some really either generic or very short descriptions. This one's pretty good actually, but for your assignment, I'm asking you guys to write your own descriptions, and here's where you would do that. So just to demonstrate that, I'm going to pause and write in my own description here. Okay, I did go ahead and update the description to talk a little more detail about what was in the article. And just understand that this description is really helping people when they come to your collection to see what is this resource all about. And finding a good image is really helpful too. This site is really pretty image-based, and so the better this image can be to connect to what you are saving, the better it's going to draw people in, and they'll understand what the resource is. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you is adding in an image. So let me go ahead and click on the image icon here. And there are multiple ways to bring in an image. I'm going to choose to upload an image. I'm going to bring in this image of Earth. And maybe I want to talk about Google Earth and what a great tool this is. So once I bring in an image, understand that if I choose to edit, I can still add in a description here. So what I'm first going to do is cite this. This is from one of the copyright-free image areas, but I'm going to give credit here to the author and to the site. So let me go ahead and do that now. All right, I want to show you where I got this image from. It's from Pics for Learning, which was one of the sites that's in the Teacher Resources document. And I can see the photographer is NASA. So I'm going to actually copy this and come back over. And I'm going to say author, and then cite my source as Pics for Learning. All right, I wanted to show you that I did add in the source as well as a description of why I added this. Now, I did add in how to get to Google Earth. Could I have just added this in as my resource? Yes, I definitely could have, but I just wanted to show you also how sometimes you might want to add in an image as a resource. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention is when you add in an image, right here, I'm going to take this out just to show you what it said. It says add alt text. What alt text is, it's short for alternative text. If a student is on a screen reader, and obviously a screen reader doesn't understand what an image is or what the specific image is unless you tell it. And this is a way of telling it. So this is a accessibility component, and you'll see that all over the place when you're using images. Whatever you put here, a screen reader or a device to help a student to read a screen will read this instead of just saying image. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you understood that. So I'm going to go ahead and close, and now we have this image as one of our resources. Okay, so I want to also show you that when you have more than one image, you can also move things around if you want to. All right, last example. I'll show you one more. You can very easily add in a text box if you want to. And that's right here. So let's say we wanted to list out a couple more resources that we really think are helpful for technology. So let me go ahead and add a little text in here. All right, I just added in some simple text just to show you. I certainly could have added in a description of each of these here if I wanted to. You can also bold these, or you can make them bigger, or you can center them. You could add in links and so on. So I wanted you to understand that you can do quite a bit with this text box. And there it is. So once again, we can move these around. So once you have all of your items inside of Wakelet, you've got a couple of kind of graphic components and visual components you can play with a little bit. I want to show you this little icon here that looks like a paintbrush. If you click this, you can see that you've got several different layouts for how you want this to look. You can, what we're looking at right now is media. You've got compact, grid view, mood board, columns. Columns are kind of interesting. It's a great way to organize things if you have different categories for things you want to add resources to. Grid view looks more like boxes that you can see as you scroll through. And compact is kind of left to right is the way that it lays out. Check your assignment. I usually ask you for one of these specifically, so make sure you're being compliant with that. All right, down here you can see we also have a cover image, and that'll go up here at the top, and a background image. I am going to ask you guys to play around with this a little bit. You'll see the more images you put in, it'll make it more visually appealing. Just like when I talked about adding an image to your resources themselves, this is helpful too. So to add a cover image, and we can choose whether it's full or half the page, I'm going to go ahead to choose image. This time I'm going to use one of their libraries. Let's try Unsplash. And this is all about technology resources. So let's see if I just search for technology, what I get. All right, so we've got a lot of options here. Let me scroll down here. This one looks like technology in the classroom. Let's go ahead and choose this. And you can see this is now our image to go along with our collection. You can see if we did half, it would do exactly that. It'd be half the size of that. And you can choose how you want to do that. For a background image, I'm going to go with Unsplash again. And I'm just going to pick something that's not going to distract from what we're doing, something that's really kind of basic. So let's see what we've got here. And, you know, matching it to what you're doing is always helpful too. But again, I don't want it to be too distracting. This looks a little bit technology-like. And you can see this will show up in our background. There you go. You could play around with those too. So I want you to know that both of those are there. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how to share a collection if you chose to. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a share button. We're going to go ahead and click that. And you'll see that we've got a couple tabs at the top here, share and publish. We also have a couple of options here under share. So that's where we'll start. Within any collection, when you choose to share it, you can choose whether you want people to be able to add content to it or just view your collection. So let's say you're in the classroom and you have a collection of resources you want students to use to create a report that they're working on. You would want students to just view those resources. You already collected them, you put them all in your collection, and you just want them to view it. In which case you would choose view. From this is their permissions. You would either copy the link and you could paste it anywhere that would make sense. You can actually add it directly to Google Classroom or to Teams. You could make a QR code out of it and so on. So that is one way that you will choose to share this out. As a side note, this is how you will turn in your assignment. I should be able to view only. If, however, you want students to actually use a collection to add their content to as well. So let's say you had a collection that said, add to this one fun thing you did over the weekend. So you want them to either add an image to it, or maybe it's text box or whatever. If you wanted students to be able to add to it, instead of just viewing it, you would choose Can Add. And that would be a different kind of link that you could copy for them, or a different URL you would copy and you would put that wherever they could access it. So those are the two options up here. You would either allow them to just view it or add to the collection. You also see a box down here that says you can put in and search for users with their email address if you want to add people in that way, where in here you can allow for them to be contributors that would either add or edit the collection. It is worth noting that if you are giving people access to add, you have up to 3 of those collections that you're allowing people to contribute to the collection versus just view it. So again, up here you're giving someone a link, down here you're putting in their email address and inviting them. Other thing to mention is over here under publish, you are allowed to publish your collection. It'll appear on your profile and other Wakelet users can search and explore. So again, these two buttons over here, your search and explore, it's when you choose to publish it. In the free account, you can have up to 4 collections that are published. 4. Okay, so that is sharing and publishing. And again, that's right underneath this button here. One other thing I want to mention under these 3 dots here, this is where you can choose to make a copy of your collection. You can move it if you want to. You can also export it as a PDF, and you can delete your collection, all under those 3 dots right there. All right, so we have our first collection. A couple things I want to also point out to you. Let me go back to our collections, our main page here, and show you that our collection is right there. There's our cover page, our cover image rather, and we can always get back into this. We also have a few other options here on this home page. All right, let me show you just a couple of other ways that we can add things to our collections by bookmarking other resources. So a good place to look for other resources is within Wakelet. So I'm going to click here where it says search, and I'm going to search for lesson plans. A whole bunch are going to pop up. If you look through a collection, let's say we're looking at this here, and we think, oh, this has got a lot of good resources. I'd really like to, there's an example of a tweet. I'd really like to save this. In order to save a collection, you can click up here in the upper right-hand corner where the settings are, and you can choose to copy to, save, or export it as a PDF. I'm going to go ahead and choose to save to our bookmarks, and that's that icon right there. When I do that, it's asking me, do I want to save this to my bookmarks area or to a specific collection? You can choose either one. In this case, I'm going to choose bookmarks. Okay, so let's say that, and let me go back, and I want to show you one other example actually. I want to show you this one just because I have looked at it before, and this is a good example of using columns. They use it as a daily, kind of a lesson plan for the week. So there's Monday and everything they're going to use, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. It's a neat idea on how to use columns. All right, if I really like this collection, once again, I could choose to bookmark it, and it'll give me those same options. Do I want to save it to bookmarks, or do I want to choose a collection here? All right, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. Now, let's say you're out online and you find something you want to save inside of your own collection. Go back to our main page here. Let's say you really liked this OER Commons that we talked about last week. There are 2 different ways that you could save this into Wakelet. The first is just to grab the URL and then go into your collection and then paste it. That's pretty easy. But another way is they have a Chrome extension. Let me go back to our OER here, that you can bookmark any page that you're on and save it for later. So if I click on this, it is going to say, okay, I see you want OER Commons. Here's a description. You can change it here. Do you want to save it to your bookmarks again, or do you want to choose a collection? I'm going to go ahead and put it here in my sample collection. And then if I go back to my sample collection, there it is. It popped up right there. Where I can then continue to edit it, change the picture, add more to it, move it around, whatever. So that Chrome extension might be helpful to you if you're out there and you want to save a few things. So I hope this gives you a good idea as to what Wakelet can do for you, how to collect resources, how to share them, how to search for them, how to use different ways to add resources to your collection. So gang, that's it. As you work through this, if you have any questions or need clarification, please let me know. Sorry, gang, I need to add one more thing here I forgot to show you. In order to change anything with your profile, if you click here where it's in the upper left-hand corner, you click Profile and choose Public Profile. This will allow you to add in an image of yourself and a description of who you are. And I am asking you to do that for your assignment, so I wanted to make sure you knew where that was. So once again, it is under here, Public Profile. You can add in your picture and a description. So that's it, everybody. That's how you change your public profile. All right, good luck and let me know of any questions.